All right, good evening and welcome back to Gun Bunny Customs. And tonight's episode, we are going to be going through the process of turning the four figures that came with the G.I. Joe classified Dragonfly Haslab into Tiger Force. Now, these are a commission that go along with the Tiger Fly that I'm doing right now, and I'm about 85% done with the Tiger Fly, so I wanted to start jumping on the figures and getting them done. And since everybody knows that I am, a Python Patrol and Tiger Force connoisseur, I guess you could say, that I'm excited to get working on these, because I've Tiger Forced up this a Wild Bill on mine, the Tiger Fly that I made for myself, but I left the other three stock because I like Night Force and I like Glinda. She's from the Commandos Heroicos and from where are they from? Argentina. So they're already sort of both these two guys and her, they're already sort of from a sub team. So now we're gonna have to figure out and kind of go through the process of where I'm gonna make them sort of half Night Force, half Tiger Force, or half Commandos Heroicos and half Tiger Force. So I've done a Night Force Tiger Force mashup before. It was a Star Duster that I did, I don't know, maybe about three and a half years ago now, on a Duke base, and I got the helmet and all that stuff, the retro helmet from Mark II Designs, and I still really like it. And this is going to give me another opportunity to come up with some sort of like that cross pollination of Night Force and Tiger Force. And that's something that I like to do. I like to kind of combine sub teams, and I kind of did that with my His tank, where it was Python Patrol, but it was still sort of Extensive Enterprises Crimson Guard. And this would be something else. So it will allow the figures to be displayed both with Night Force and Tiger Force and not look out of place. Okay. So like I said, since we can't really prep or take apart, we can't really prep the joints and take the legs and arms apart, that leaves us in sort of a unique situation to where, or at least for me, where I want to leave the joints the colors that they are, and so that way there's never any paint rub, no matter how much my friend plays with them or poses them, that they'll still look nice and clean. So we're gonna have to sort of work all within those parameters. Now, another thing about these is they have a lot of accessories. They have all these harnesses and belts and stuff like that. And so we're gonna go through the process of painting those as well, and all that. And like I said, figuring out the paint scheme and strategizing of how and where we're gonna put the tiger stripes, what colors and stuff like that. So then that way, each one of them looks unique, but it's still within that in that sub team look, or that dual sub team kind of look. And we get everything looking right for my buddy. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to break these down, and I'm going to take off all of the accessories and put it here with the accessories that I have laid out. Now there are other accessories that I left still in the packaging that I knew for sure that I wasn't going to paint. So if you've noticed, if you have your Dragonfly Haslab and you notice that there's something missing, it's not really missing, it's just still in the package. Okay, so I'm gonna jump on breaking these down, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we got them all broken down, and these are the pieces that we got, right? So I was able to get all of the accessories off of them, and then take the legs and the diapers off. I didn't want to mess with the arms too much, because the plastic in the butterfly joint seemed a little delicate, and I didn't want to get it all hot and crack it or something like that, because like I said, these aren't mine, these are somebody else's, so I don't want to take that risk. So what I ended up having to do is to do a little cutting on the accessories, like this right here, just the strap in the back. But what I'm going to do is, once I put it all back together, and I'll show you the way that I put these back together, where I kind of splice them back together, you won't be able to tell at all, and it makes it easier for it to go back on a lot of times, so you don't have to worry about kind of wrestling it back on and then scuffing up the paint of the pieces that are underneath it. All right, so now comes to the part where we got to figure out how we're going to paint the bodies and what portions of it we're going to paint. Now, usually when I'm painting a figure, I look for breaks in the pattern or material, right? So like for these two, these are the exact same body except for the feet, and then obviously like the gauntlets. But from this sort of top of the forearm up to the torso, the diaper, and the legs, it's the same. It's the same flight suit. So you don't really have any kind of breaks. It's a singular piece, right? It's a flight suit. It's not a bottom and a top. It's one piece that they go into, which means that the material, if you think about it like in real life, it's not all made out of one material. Yeah, it's got pockets, but it's all one big piece, one thing of material. So whatever pattern it's going to be from top to bottom. It's going to be the whole thing. They're not going to make these to where the legs are one color and the top is different, or part of it has a pattern and the other part doesn't. It's all the same material, so it's all done out of one big piece of material or whatever it is, and so it's going to be the same. So these are going to look kind of similar, but because one's black and one's green, obviously there's going to be some kind of color differentiation. Now, when you come to Glinda, she has a little bit of differentiation because she has that gray leotard, you know what I mean? That Scarlet is so well known for, the V1 Scarlet. And so that gives us and it doesn't at all affect the joints. So to me, that's going to be one of the prime things to paint, to be able to change the way that this looks and make it more Tiger Force, because it's gray. It's already got a nice base. So all we got to do is kind of figure out what we want to move it to. Now, it's got to be something that's going to kind of go along with the blue, and we can even make the white yellow because it's already got that nice base, and we shouldn't get too much paint rub on there, over the wrist joint and the ankle joints, but it'll be a light color on top of a light color. So even if there is a little bit of paint rub, it won't be super noticeable, like black through white or white through black. So those are what I got my eyes on for her. Like I said, you got to start kind of thinking and processing how you want to get these done, and start figuring out what you think is going to work and what's not going to work. Now, out of all of them, the one who has the most detailed and interesting and sort of textured piece, and that's another thing, is going from one texture to another, even if it was the same color, right? Like if you print or if you have, say, like olive drab corduroy, and then you got olive drab, denim or whatever, and you put them together, even though they both might be olive drab, they're going to be slightly different because the material, the texture of it, the surface of it's different, so it's going to catch light differently. So that's another thing that I look for is, like two different kinds of fabric. Now, he's got a quilted flight suit, like a padded kind of quilted looking flight suit that has this nice strip down the middle. So I'm thinking of, and because it does go all the way down the inside of his legs, that it would be cool to obviously paint that a different color. And the only joint you really got to worry about is the hip joint, but I'm going to do a little bit of sanding in here to kind of prep that area to minimize that. But it'll be a darker color as well that kind of goes over that blackish gray. So then that way, like I said, we keep it about the same tone. So then that way it's not incredibly visible when it starts to happen. Another thing that we're able to sort of do, because we aren't going to be painting the base of the bodies any different colors, we're gonna be able to keep all of the paint apps here, like for the patch, for the name, things like that. He's got some patches on him as well on this side, and so does Wild Bill. He's got his American flag and then that Dragonfly patch. Now with her, she's got her little pistol on the inside and her throwing stars, and we're going to make sure that we keep those. But also with her, you can also get kind of crazy with it, because even like her boot has different panels and it's got pockets, and so we can go into all of that. Another thing that I want to do is, obviously I'll be painting up their helmets to have the distinctive Tiger Force tiger striping. Okay, so I think the first one that I'm going to start working on, and like I said, we got to do all four, and then all four's accessories. I'm going to start with Wild Bill because I think he's going to be the easiest because I've already done him, and not only that, he actually has a Tiger Force version that came out in the 2000s, where he came with the Tiger Rat, which was the Tiger Force Rattler, and that's the way that I painted. That's the way that I painted my Wild Bill for my Tigerfly, based off of that reference photo. And so his gear, his accessories, his belt, gloves, and vest was black, and then this sort of hanging pouch holster thing here was yellow, and then also going to be making his hat yellow with the whatchamacallit, all the cavalry stuff, the cross swords and the rope that goes around it. All of that's going to be black. And like I said, since this is a commission to somebody else's, I'm going to be painting both of them, so then that way he can have whatever version that he wants. Now, he did say that he would like to, the colors to be bright. So with my Wild Bill, I wanted them to be subdued but still visible. So what I did was I just got a slightly darker color of green, and then did the tiger stripe pattern all the way throughout the flight suit. And then, like I said, I made all of his sort of Western accessories black, and it came out great. But like you said, he didn't want his so subdued, so we're gonna make his a little bit brighter. So we got to figure out what color is gonna kind of work best with that. And I like this gold yellow from Vallejo Game Air. It's also what I used in the paint job of the actual Tigerfly. So then that way it'll have a nice match to it. And so then that way we'll get that continuity. All right. So I'm going to set up to start making these tiger stripes. So stand by, and we're going to get them done. Okay. So now we're going to get started putting on the stripes of Wild Bill's flight suit. So what I'm going to start off with is we're going to go ahead and do the traditional yellow stripes with Wild Bill. So then that way the stripes will match the hat and the and this thing, whatever the thing is he's carrying. I don't know, some kind of pouch. That black pouch and its straps is going to be yellow as well. So when I paint the tiger stripes, I'll use a brush that's like this. It's kind of a thin brush, not quite a, I guess it can be considered, I think it's a liner, but the reason is you want it thin is because the stripes, they're not thick and square. They start off as a point, and then they kind of get bigger, and then they go back down to a point like a tiger. Like a tiger's real stripes. So let me show you how I apply it. So what I do is I use the tip of the tip of the paintbrush. And let's see, let's get it. So I try to palette my brush really well to where I let the paint soak in, and then kind of wipe off the excess. Now this is a yellow primer, so my hopes is that since it's a primer, that it'll be a little bit more opaque than just a regular yellow. But if not, then we can always do a second pass. So when I do tiger striping, I have to stagger the stripes. Well, that's what that's how the pattern is. The one on the right is a little bit lower than the one on the left. And they kind of go up. They kind of go up like that, because you don't want them facing each other face to face, because then it's just going to look like rings. At least to me. So I'll take my brush and I actually kind of paint it backwards. I have the thin part of the brush in the front, and I'll just lightly push down on it. And then as it goes to the back, I will press down on the paintbrush a little bit more, apply a little bit more pressure, and then pull the stripe all the way to the back, because you don't want it to go all the way to where it would, you know, to where it would touch, but close to the middle point. Now, I always go thin because it's always easier to make it thicker than it is to go over it, you know, making it too thick and then trying to somehow reduce the size. Now this flight suit, it's got like that zipper portion in the front and the pockets, so we're gonna have to be kind of mindful of all of that as well, because you want it to kind of also kind of go with the way it would in real life. Like when they put the panels together of like camouflage, you know, for the pants or for the trousers or the blouses, it's made up of different panels and it's all the same material, but it's not put together in a way to where it would, you know, make one seamless pattern. You know what I mean? But just the fact that they're mixed match also helps with it, with the camouflaging part. So with this, we're just going to just go nice and light, paint it slow. Like I said, this is somebody else's, so I'm gonna go be really careful. I'm not gonna be as I don't want to say it, not that I'm careless with mine, but I'm a little bit more I don't want to say enthusiastic, because I'm enthusiastic to do this, but I'm just a little bit more of a hurry to get mine done, because, you know, I want to see it, whereas this is going to go and be in somebody else's collection. So I want to make sure that I do the very best I can for my client. So you can see, and that's it. And you just do that over and over and over and over again. Now, so since I said, like, the height wise, they're going to be kind of staggered. So we have the one that we did here on the outside. So then, you know, the one that's going to be here on the inside is going to be slightly above it. So then we're going to put this one here. So you want to make sure that they have enough space to where when I put this one here in the middle, in between them, they don't exactly line up, that there's a little bit of staggering in them. So then that way we don't, you know, just make it look like rings. And you just keep going like that. Now, like I said, for him, this is going to be the only Tiger Force portion. If you look at I use yojo.com. If you go to yojo.com and you look at the figures, there's a tab at the top, or there's a, I don't know what you call it. It's a word that you can click on, a link or whatever the fuck, and it will send you to the sub teams. And when you go to the sub teams, you can look down all the Joe and Cobra sub teams, and you can click on Tiger Force, and you'll go down every year that Tiger Force was released from. Was it 1988? All the way to the, you know, to the latest ones that were released in the 2000s. And you'll be able to see how crazy the color patterns were, what colors that they used that were different from the original ones, because the original ones, they sort of had, I don't know, very, very similar colors, whereas they went later on and then they did like international releases. Like they did a I believe that the Tunnel Rat was like a UK exclusive or something like that, or Europe exclusive or something like that. And anyways, he's like red and blue, and the only Tiger Force thing is his bandana. So there are other ones that have blue, and I want to say, like, there might be a Crazy Legs, if I'm not mistaken. There might be one. So I have to look at him to see if look at it again to see if whatchamacallit, to get the reference for him. But I always constantly check reference. Like, I have this awesome Mark Bellamo book right here that I've always used when making my customs. But it doesn't have any of the stuff past, like, what was it, 92 or 94, when the original line 94, I guess, when the original line stopped. And so it's just all of those original A Real American Hero. None of the 25th anniversary or 35th or 40th or any of that other Resolute or any of that other stuff is in there. So it looks like we're just gonna have to make 2 passes for this to make it nice and clean and you know, with no thin spots of seeing the green through it. And you just want to take your time. Just go slow, paint it going one way, let it dry, and then kind of paint it going back the other way. So then that way you have a sort of a similar thickness all the way up and all the way down. You see how good that looks? It's already looking real traditional green with the yellow stripes. And like I said, if you want to thicken it up a little bit here's and there's in the middle, you can do so. You can make the shape all the way to your desire. Okay. So that's going to be it for this right now. It's going to take me, I don't know, probably about an hour or so to paint the rest of the stripes on. So I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me do that and babble on. But that's going to be it for this first part of this video. And like I said, we're going to go down and we're going to do each one, and we're going to go through the process of how I get to it. Like I said, with Wild Bill, it's a little bit easier because I'd already done one and I already had sort of a clear plan of attack. It's going to get more and more interesting as we go along with these. He's going to be rather simple as well, but I want him to be, because like I said, I want them to not only to be Tiger Force, but I still want them to still look Night Force as well. So I want them to have the Tiger Force pattern, but not necessarily doesn't have to be that crazy of a color scheme. With her, same thing. That blue is going to stay blue, and then we're going to mess with the white and the gray, her helmet and all that stuff. And so stay tuned for that. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching Gun Bunny Customs. Please like and subscribe. Follow Gun Bunny Customs on Instagram, and hopefully the next part 2 should be out here shortly. Thank you and have a good night.